Okay, when you multiply two binomials together, what method did we use? You probably opened some of these on Christmas. Yeah, who said it? Somebody said it. Yes, box method, remember? So we're going to do one right here where you draw, these are 2 by 2s. This is a binomial times a binomial. You draw a 2 by 2 box. Okay, and which one do you want to do? 1, 2, or 3? All right, number 1, thank you. So it's x plus 1, so you're going to put x here, positive 1 here, and then x plus 5. Then all we did was we multiplied to get into those boxes. So like you bring this and this together, so x times x, that gave us x squared. X times 5 gave us x times 1 gives us 1x. Or 1 times 5 gives us 5. And then all we do is simplify. So that's what they want right there, it all written out, but we don't have to do that. So we have x squared, that comes first. And then you've got 5x and 1x. How many x's total is that? 6x plus 5. So that's what we did before we left. And now what we're going to work on today is moving backwards. So we're going to go from the answer we just found to finding the 2 parentheses. Okay? And it's probably going to look more complicated than it is. We've got this. Okay? It's going to be pretty easy. All right. So to factor a trinomial, you must find 2 integers that add to give you b. It's actually add or subtract, but add or subtract to give you b, and multiply to give you c. All right, and what they mean by that is if you look right here, it says factor a trinomial of the form x squared plus bx plus c to find 2 integers. That right there, we're going to highlight it. I want you to underline it or something. That x squared plus bx plus c. Who is that? Yeah, who is that? Who's RAR or whatever? Because if you're not in my class, I'm going to kick you out here in just a second. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Cassie. Okay. So it's add or subtract to give you B and multiply to give you C. So this is a guided example. All right. It says what 2 integers have a product of 12 and a sum of 7. So what we're going to do to find that, is you're going to draw what we call a T-chart. Okay. So on all of our problems, we're going to draw a T-chart. This side is the side that we're going to, thank you, we're going to find the multiples of A times C that add up to give us B. So, for instance, what you're going to do is when you get a problem like this, you're going to tell me what is your A value, what is your B value, and what is your C value. And then on the left side of your T-chart, that's what's going to be A times C. So this is 1 times 12, which just gives me what? 12. And then what's your B value? 7, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to find the factors of 12, and factors are multiples. So you're going to start with the common one, 12 and 1. And then we have 6 and 2, and then we have 4 and 3. So we're going to find the factors, and if you look at this number right here, that tells me if I add or subtract these factors. In this case, I'm going to add these factors. So 12 plus 1, 6 plus 2, 4 plus 3. Which one gives me 7? 4 plus 3, that's what gives me 7. So when it asks what two integers have a product of 12 and a sum of 7, that's 4 and 3. You don't have to write this. We're just going to fill in the notes right here. Okay, so all you do from there, guys, is draw 2 parentheses. Because we're going from this to this, right? So draw 2 parentheses. And then what is your variable? X, right? So we're going to split those up. And then what are the factors we found that give us 7? Positive 4 and positive 3. And that's factored. So let's give it another shot. So this says n squared plus 9n plus 20. Okay, so I'm going to draw my t-chart. And then this is your A value. This is your B value. This is your C value. So this side, and I'm just writing this here for now so we get used to it, is A times C. So A is what number? What's A? 1 times 20. What's 1 times 20? 20. What's our B? So what we're going to do is we're going to factor out 20. What are our factors of 20? Well, we got 20 and 1, 10 and 2, 5 and 4. Okay, do any of those added together, because that tells me I'm going to add. That sign right there is important. Any of those added together give me 9. 5 and 4. 5 plus 4, that's what gives me 9. So all you do is write 2 parentheses. You split up your variable. So what's your variable this time? N, and then it's plus 5 and plus 4. And that's factored. Okay, let's try again. So first thing you can do is label A, B, C. And then what am I going to draw? Your T-chart. What goes on the left side? Left side is A times C. So what's A times C? 24. What is B? 10. Good. So let's find the factors of 24. So 24 and 1, 12 and 2, 8 and 3, 6 and 4. Okay, am I adding or subtracting? Adding. So which one added together gives me 10? 6 plus 4. That's what gives me 10. So all I do is write my 2 parentheses, write my variable first, A and A. And then this is plus 6 plus 4. How are we doing? Up, thumb sideways, thumb down. Up, sideways, down. Everybody. Up, sideways, down. Get it, don't get it, or kind of get it, don't get it at all. Can you show? Yes. You can just give me a thumb. There you go. That's all you got to do. Okay. Next one. So we've got A, B, C. All right. So on the left is A times C. So 1 times 18. Don't pay attention to the sign on A times C. Just multiply the numbers, okay? So 1 times 18, that's 18. And then that gives me, what's my B? That's a positive 3, right? So here's where the sign comes in. When it was positive, what we did was we added the factors. When it's negative, we're going to subtract them, okay? So let's factor 18. 18 and 1, 9 and 2, 6 and 3. So which one subtracted is going to give me 3? 6 minus 3, right? And it's positive 3. So it's 6 minus 3. So then all you do, set up your parentheses, do n plus 6, n minus 3. Good on that? So that sign at the end in front of that C, what does that tell us? That tells us if we add or subtract. So the sign in front of the C tells you where you add or subtract. All right, let's do the T chart again. A, B, C. So this is a 1, this is a 1, and this is negative 6. So A, B, C. So what's A times C? Don't pay attention to the sign. Get off your phones. What's A times C? 6, right? All right. And then what's B? 1. Okay, so let's factor out 6. So we got 6 and 1, 3 and 2. So this time, this tells us right here that we're going to subtract our signs. So 6 minus 1, 3 minus 2. Which one gives me 1? 3 minus 2. So all you do is write in your parentheses, G plus 3, and then G minus 2. How are we on the subtraction ones? Okay, good. Thumb up, thumb up, thumb up. Okay. Okay. Set 3 is where it changes it's just a little bit, not much, okay? Same concept. A, B, C. Oops. So A times C, 1 times 3 gives us 3. And then we're trying to find, what is my B value now? Instead of positive, it's what? It's a negative 2, okay? So my factors of 3 are 3 and 1. Look at this sign. We are subtracting. So that means one of them's a positive and one of them's a negative, okay? How do I get, so if I just did 3 minus 1, that would give me a positive 2, right? So when that happens and you need the opposite sign, what should it be? If one of them's negative 3 plus 1. Because negative 3 plus 1 is negative 2. So then we draw our parentheses. A minus 3. A plus 1. Good? All right. I mean, y'all stop me if y'all have any questions, okay? Okay, next one. So we've got b squared minus, so this is a 1. This is a, b, c. So 1 times c, or 1 times 63, a times c is 63. We're finding our factors of 63 that give me a what? Negative 2. Does anybody know what factors give you 2 when you subtract them of 63? Okay, well, what you will do is you just write all your factors, but we're not going to go through them all. It's 9 and 7. So what will give me negative 2 when you subtract? If I did 9 minus 7, that would be a positive 2. So if I needed to be at negative 2, what do I have to do? Negative 9 plus 7, right? You flip the signs to make it work. So then you have b minus 9, b plus 7. So back in the day, we didn't have like a method. It was called FOIL, and you just guessed and checked. So you just had to know your multiples and figure out your signs. So what we would do is we would just draw 2 parentheses, and then we would put, say we flipped it, plus 9, b plus 7, because I know I need opposite signs. And I know 7, I know those give me 63, but will give me 2. And then we'd have to multiply it out, see if it worked. If it didn't work, we'd have to fix it. So it took forever. I mean, why did we do that? I don't know. Especially when you have something in front of A, it gets a little crazy. Okay, set 4. Last 2 I'm going to do, and I'm going to let you work on your homework. So this is A, B, C. So 1 times 24 is 24. That gives me negative 11. Now, you're adding your factors, okay? So let's factor out 24 first. I got 24 and 1, 12 and 2, 8 and 3, 6 and 4. So what gives me 11 when you add them together? 8 and 3, but it's negative 11. So what does that mean? Do you know? Close. Negative 8 minus 3. That's what gives me negative 11. So all you have to do is manipulate your signs to make it work. But thank you. Yes, Chloe. Way to go, girl. Is this fairly easy? I mean, are y'all doing okay? Okay. Okay. Let's try again. So I'm going to factor. So when it's a plus on the end, but this is negative, that means they're both going to be negative. Okay. So this is A, B, C. So I'm trying to find my factors of 72 that give me 17. Okay, so what are our factors of 72? The one that comes to my head first when I hear 72 is 9 and 8. I don't know. I don't know why. I know my 9s pretty well. Well, that's what it is. So it's negative 17. So what does that mean? This has to be a negative 9 minus 8, correct? So it's y minus 9, y minus 8. Okay, so the first one is when it's just both positive. The second one is when you're subtracting. The third one is, or the bigger numbers. So you just have to manipulate your signs, and the next one is where they're both negative. Let's look at examples with GCF real quick. I didn't know these were down here, but this kind of adds on what we did yesterday, and it's very important that you know this. Okay, so when you have something like this, where there's numbers with the A and B and C, what you want to look at first is, does something come out of those? Meaning, 4, 12, and 8 are all factors of what number? And 4. Okay, so we want to find the greatest common factor. 2 is a factor, it's not the greatest. So the greatest common factor is 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to factor out a 4. So when I take out a 4, what does that leave inside? So I took out that 4. What are you left with on A? K squared. Plus 4 times what gives you 12? 3. So this is 3K. 4 times what gives you 8? 2. All right. So then you do the same thing that we've been doing, okay? But you only pay attention to what is inside the parenthesis. So this is your A, this is your B, and this is your C. So A times C is 2. So I'm finding my factors of 2. That give me 3. Are you adding or subtracting these factors? Adding them. And that's how you know that sign right there. So it's 2 plus 1. And then your answer, you just leave the 4 in front of your 2 parentheses. So it's K plus 2, K plus 1. Okay, next one. What comes out of 3, 15, and 12? 3. So when you factor out of 3, you have y squared minus 3 times what gives you 15? 5y, and then 3 times what gives you 4? 3 times what gives you 12? I said 4. All right. And then same thing that we were doing, you just do it inside the parentheses. So A times C, so 1 times 4, that gives you 4, that gives you negative 5. Are we adding or subtracting? Adding. So it's 4 and 1. But if you have 4 plus 1, that gives you positive 5. So how do I make it a negative 5? Negative 4 minus 1. That's what gives you negative 5. So now all you do is write what you've GCF'd out in front of your parentheses. You have y minus 4, y minus 1. And that's it.